know that April marks Limb Difference Awareness Month? Well, it does, and it did actually used to be Limb Loss Awareness Month or Amputee Awareness Month, but it kind of only left room for a certain amount of people. There are some people out there who are born with limb differences. There are some people who have injuries throughout their lives, so it's now known as Limb Difference Awareness Month. I first discovered Limb Difference Awareness Month back last year when one of the people I follow, called Megan from Wegan, posted about it, and she has limb differences and she posted about it to raise awareness of the month, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It really spoke out to me because I do have limb differences due to my spinal cord injury, and I'm going to go into that later on in the video. This month I was like,
hey Megan, would you like to collab?
And she was like, yes! So this is the first collaboration of the year with Megan, who is doing a video all about her struggles and how she grew up having a limb difference. So go and check out her channel, it's linked down below. It's called What Wegan Did Next. It's a beautiful channel with loads of lovely travel vlogs as well. So highly recommend you go and have a look and check out Megan's video after you've watched this video and given it a good old thumbs up, and also subscribe. Limb Difference Awareness Month. I'm going to start from the very beginning, all about my legs and my feet. Now, as you know, I suffered my spinal cord injury when I was 9. If you want to know more about it, then go and click this link up here. But I was actually born with a slight deformity in my right foot. When I was born, I was born with a dropped foot, and my mum, over time, massaged my foot as a baby back, and it actually went back into its place, and that's why I don't remember anything about it. There aren't any photos, that's all I know. As I grew a little bit older, 5, 6 I think, I started to get these incredibly painful leg aches and foot aches, predominantly foot aches, and I used to get them in my right foot, and they were so painful, like a cold pain, I guess like a toothache in your foot. And they'd keep me up at night, and I'd have to take things like paracetamol, and I would keep my foot up, but that did anything. And I did have a few x-rays on my foot, but doctors couldn't find anything, and obviously they put it down to growing pain. So that was that, basically. Everything was okay. As you know, and if you don't, then obviously there's the video, but I had a heart problem, and I went and had my heart surgery, and that went a little bit wrong. I was in a coma, and that is when I suffered my spinal cord injury and the lack of oxygen to my legs and my spine and all that malarkey. When I came round from the surgery, after a long time, you know, it took a long time to rehabilitate, but I remember standing for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, I'm sure this was not supposed to happen, because I wasn't told what went on to protect me. I mean, I was only 9. And I remember being held up trying to stand, and it felt so strange. And it felt, on my right foot, it felt like there was a tennis ball under the ball of my foot, and I was standing on a tennis ball. It was really weird, and my feet were very, very painful, put on the floor. Yeah, and it was just all very traumatic and awful. Slowly, as I was having physiotherapy, they began to see that my tibia was twisted. So when my legs are out straight, my right foot points out like that, but my knee will be straight because tibia is twisted. Trying to film here. So what the doctors believe is that all the time I could walk and didn't have the spinal cord injury, my body was compensating for the twisted bone, and I was pulling my foot in, and because I was overcompensating, that could be where the pain was, and where the, you know, why I was getting that pain. And surgery has been discussed to straighten my bone in my leg, but I thought that that wouldn't be much fun. I'll pass on that one, but thanks. So yeah, so that's how I was sort of born, and I've got that twistedness. But why I wanted to make this video about the limb difference is because once I had my spinal cord injury and I became aware of myself and, you know, was sent on my merry way, around about 13, 14, you start high school and growing and puberty and all that awfulness. And I really started to become aware of how different I was. You know, one of the main differences, obviously, you're in a wheelchair and that makes you stick out. But it's also when your body is different as well. It's not nice, and I wanted to share this experience with you because I was so horrified by my legs. They are so skinny and there's muscle wastage and they are partially paralysed, and I used to hide them under big baggy trousers, and I would never have photos taken of me in my wheelchair. It's really hard to actually find photos of me in my wheelchair when I was younger. Now it's just a completely different story, but it would always be from the waist up. I look back and I think that that's really quite sad that I felt that way. Another thing that happened that helped me accept my sort of self and my life, my legs, was when I first met Sean. He took me away on a trip to Prague, and we had these wonderful 3 nights away in Prague. We hadn't been dating that long, but you know when you get the feeling, it's like, oh yeah, it's coming, the I love you. And we were there in this romantic city, and it was snowing and it was beautiful. So I'm sure he's going to say it now. We were looking over this beautiful bridge down at the snow, and it was just like a postcard. It was amazing. I bet he's going to say it. I bet he's going to say it. And he didn't. I was like, what does it take? You know, we're in this amazing city. We were back at the room and we were watching some TV, and my circulation is awful in my legs. And my feet are always really, really cold. And it was like minus in Prague. So he was rubbing my feet to keep them warm. He was just rubbing them like this, and then he was like, I love your little feet, like that. And then I was like, just my feet? And then he was like, all of you. And then the rest is history. He loves me for me, he's not a devotee, and he's not into all of that kind of thing. It was just a natural kind of thing that he said, and I was like, oh, that's really lovely, and it really helped sort of accept who I am, and sort of led me on the journey of acceptance, I guess, and loving myself for who I am. Another thing that I wanted to mention in this video is I get a lot of messages saying, why are you called Wheelsnoheels? Hey Jem, don't you know I can wear heels in my wheelchair? Can't you wear heels? You can do this, that and the other. And I love that you want to share your advice with me. But one of the reasons that I can't wear heels is that after my surgery, and I don't know what the medical name is for it, but my muscles have sort of contracted up and they haven't gone back. So in my right foot, it's just kind of stuck like this. It can go, you can move it like this, but it can't move inwards and it can't move downwards. So to put it into a heel in sort of like a tiptoed position is extremely painful and really uncomfortable. Even just a tiny heel is too uncomfortable over time. Yeah, so I don't really know why that's happened, and I mean over, you know, when I had my physiotherapy, the physiotherapist would massage the muscles, but they never went back. And it doesn't really cause me any pain, only if you try and stretch it, but it is just constantly contracted. What little muscle there is there. And I guess all the tendons and everything have shortened as well. We should be proud of who we are, and we should be proud of our bodies, and we should show them off. And we should be represented more so that people don't have to feel ashamed and feel like the way I did. I discussed this a lot in my TED talk about how once I went onto social media and I saw other people like myself, like me, I started to feel comfortable and less ashamed and more accepting of myself. And one thing that I tell myself a lot which I really hope that you can take away from this video today, is people are more worried about themselves to be worried about you. And I think if you put that into practice a lot, you can get over your insecurities and learn to work with them and grow and accept yourself. Because if you're worried about your insecurities, then that person on the beach is probably worried more about their insecurities than how you're looking. And I just think that that is just such a great quote, and I love it. It's just one of my favourite ones. These are my experiences on living with limb difference. If you would like to share any of your experiences or how you sort of deal with any sort of differences in your life, I would love to hear it down below. Don't forget to check out Megan's video, and if you enjoyed this video, you may like my video on how to cope with people staring at you, because that's one of the worst things about having a limb difference or any sort of disability. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!